Hi there, it's Leanne in the dirty shirt. Get off my lawn, Parazone. Oh, jeez. Yeah, well, I was eating wings and the crusty stuff got on my shirt. Not that that matters. I've got cat hair too, jeez. That's why you don't wear black when you got black cats. So we're now 45 seconds in and I have not said anything of major import. How did that feel? Okay, so if you watched my Believers video, somewhere in the middle of it, you see me like jump, look away from the camera, look under the desk, look around on the floor. And the reason I did that is because something hard and sharp whacked me across my right shin. It was like being hit with the edge of a thin piece of lumber, or the edge of, the wooden yardsticks that people used to use. And the next day there was even a bruise. I tried to take a picture of it, but taking pictures of your own body extremities doesn't work too well. But the point is, when you saw me looking down and looking around, I was trying to see what caused this, and there was nothing. There was no animals under my desk, no dogs, no cats. I checked the cords. They weren't hanging anywhere where they might have hit me. There was nothing in that space that would have caused that on my leg. So this is an unexplained occurrence. I would call it paranormal, but people don't like jumping to that conclusion. Well, there is the rest of the evidence, or the rest of the occurrences. As I said in that video towards the beginning, the clocks were falling off my wall. Clocks that have been hanging there and been fine for months or more decided to fall off the wall. And I know about micro movements and vibrations and all of that. There was no tractors going by the house, no trucks. I'm in a fairly remote place where you're not going to get street rumbling or vibrations of that sort. So anyway, that's my evening. Started with clocks falling off the wall, and during the video I may have seemed distracted because things in the room were shifting. I would hear things slide or move, and I would look and couldn't identify anything that moved. The cats weren't in here. The dog wasn't. There was nothing like that. I do say that I have a Jenga house, so, it could have been something that had been moving all along and finally got up the momentum to slide, but I saw nothing that moved. And then, of course, after that, my leg got smacked by something solid. And then after I finished the video, I was uploading it all, I started feeling like pinpricks on my left calf. And I looked for bugs. I put stuff on it. I looked for bites. There was nothing. Just every few moments, I would get this poke as though somebody was poking me with a needle. I cannot explain that either. There was no bugs, no marks of bugs, no bug bites, nothing but the feeling of this needle poking me in random places on my calf. I mean, if it'd been the same spot over and over, I could call it a nerve misfiring. But when it's happening all over the place, that's like, okay, that is not a normal occurrence or something I can account for. I am very aware of what muscle spasms feel like. You know, it wasn't a microspasm. It wasn't anything like that. So in my mind, there was a lot of activity that day. Why? I don't know. Was it because of where I was recording, what I was saying? Was it because I didn't do my usual sage and sweetgrass to cleanse the space? Yes, I'm one of those people. I also have Native American indigenous ancestry. So I come by these beliefs naturally. In fact, a Native American shaman, medicine woman, her name is Medicine Bearclaw. She's on YouTube, and you can look her up. She does very informational videos. She also does cryptid work like Bigfoots, Dogmans, but she also manufactures things of a sacred nature for people. And yes, I am getting a protection bag to protect myself. Occasionally, activity in the house will ramp up. Occasionally, it gets to the... There have been times when we've heard loud voices, well, twice while laying in bed, even though I was fully awake and my partner was awake, just kind of laying around, not getting up yet. I often hear knocks at the door, the exterior door, and go look and nobody's there. And basically, to get to my house, you have to drive down a quarter-mile driveway. There is no easy access to the house on either side. There are no houses near me. And so knocking at the door and not finding somebody is a strange experience. Another time laying there, we were awake, laying there, and very clearly we both heard in a young female voice, "Hey guys, do you mind if I come in?" So, of course, I got up and went to look because I thought maybe the granddaughters had stopped by and were in the living room. There was nobody there. There was nobody outside. There was nobody on the driveway. Nobody. And of course, I don't blanket let anybody in, anything in, any entity in. Because even though I don't believe in demons as such, I do believe there are negative entities. And I'm not going to invite something into my home that is malevolent or a bad intentions, troublesome. I already have what I call trickster here. Yes, there are many spirits in my house and around on my property. I believe that. I don't have any, it's a trust me bro, because I don't have evidence other than what other people have experienced. I don't have photographs, audio, video, any of that to back it up. It's just something I know. Okay, so let's get past that. You don't have to believe it. I'm not going to try to talk you into sharing my beliefs, nor do I want you to talk me into your beliefs. Where was I? Yes. So occasionally things ramp up. We've heard voices, things have been moved. The trickster I was going to tell you about, yes, does tricks. Leaving a tooth cleaning device similar to maybe like this in the middle of my bed where it had not been before, just dropped in the middle of the bed. One time my partner was, excuse me, it's a cat. One time my partner was looking high and low for one medication, and she had a wicker box, a wicker basket. She kept all her medicines in. They were all neatly arranged. Each had its own spot. She could find them in the dark if she needed. Everything was arranged. Well, this medication was missing. And she looked through the box. She looked through it several times. I looked through it. The medicine was not there. We could not figure out where it went. We looked some other places, and when we came back, here, sitting on the top of her medicine basket, was the medicine. There was no way we would have missed it. We would have had to move it to move other medicines, and we did not do that. So that's one case of things getting moved. Yes, I mean, we'd find things in places they didn't belong. And it was sort of like somebody was pranking us, being a trickster. And the two of us not being into that kind of thing, it wasn't her doing it or me doing it, not the animals or anything else. So that's a few experiences inside my house when it ramps up. I have, when sitting at this desk twice, been scratched on my neck on this side like fingers. There are 3 lines of fingers. And I tried to take pictures of it, but they didn't come out very well. But I was basically sitting here doing whatever on the computer, and suddenly my neck was burning, and I reach up and touch it, and it feels really hot, so I get my camera out so I can look at it, and I can see the scratches down the side of my neck. Now, you might think, oh, that's kind of scary, and causing physical pain and harm isn't a nice thing. But previous times in my life when things like this have happened, the entity, spirit, ghost, energy being, what you want to call it, the Agent X, indicated that they weren't attempting to hurt us. They were just letting us know their presence, that they're here. So, I don't get freaked out about it. It seems a bit rude to whack somebody across their shin with a board, but, takes all kinds. So, about scratches and such. When we were in Tennessee and we were doing the cemetery renovation and cleanup, staying at my niece's house where who has the cemetery on their land, a 1800s predominantly enslaved people buried there. Well, one morning, my partner woke up with these 3 big scratches on her leg. And we tried to figure it out. Yes, we debunk things. We don't just go, woo, paranormal. We try to debunk things. And so, we talked a lot about it. We looked in the bed to see if there was anything in the bed. It wasn't the dog. The dog wasn't sleeping on the bed. She went to bed fine and woke up in the morning with these 3 scratches. So it's evening again. We're getting ready for bed, and we're sitting there talking about it again. And I said, well, maybe they didn't mean to hurt you. Maybe they were just letting you know that they are here. And when I said that, I felt as though a very large hand wrapped around my right knee and gave it a very hard squeeze. So I took it to mean that that's what they were doing. They weren't trying to cause harm. They were just trying to let us know they were there. And, if you're not corporeal, it may be difficult to make exacting or gentle movements. So that's a couple of times. Oh, when we've had physical stuff happen. And I figured it out. Okay, it's simple. It's you know, the 3 scratches, and people claim, oh, that's mocking the Trinity, that's demon, that's yada, yada, yada. That's ridiculous. You heard it here first. I don't know if this will work right. Okay, look. The thing is these fingers are longer. Pinky finger is very short. So if you try to scratch something, these 3 fingers will get a grip, can get a grip, where the pinky finger, being so much smaller, just coasts over the surface if it touches. So the reason you're getting 3 scratches is not from any demon thing. It's because that's how biology, alive or dead otherwise, works. You get 3 scratches from those fingers. The little finger doesn't do anything, and the thumb is sliding on its side. So all you're going to get is 3 scratches. 3 scratches, because that's how the human hand, works. This is my theory. I would say it's my hypothesis, but, you know, I've tested it many times, and, you know, scratching my legs, wherever, my little fingers don't hit, or they just graze the surface. So if I did scratch, it would be 3 scratches from my predominant 3 fingers. So that's sort of debunking a false idea that people have. It's my water bottle. It's loaded for bear. We, the people, because I'm American. I'm American. Americans have bogans too, but not like New Zealand. Well, pretty much like New Zealanders, but that's a side note. And check it out. I've managed to do an entire video without predominantly talking about cats. Spot on my screen. Yes, I'm using you all as my mirror as I look, and I realize I have some pretty deep frown lines here I need to do something about. So, this is just a little bit about the paranormal, of what goes on at my house, what I have experienced at different points in my life. I'll have more stories forthcoming, but this is a cat-free video brought to you by your sponsor, and nobody's sponsoring it. Sponsor me. Okay, y'all have a good night, morning, day, evening, whatever you have, wherever you are. And I will check back later. Bye.